Kristen, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I try to get everyone that Michael sends me on. I think it happens. I think we get more than that. He's pretty much the only like PR person I'll deal with. So.
Michael's great.
Yeah.
I love dealing with him in terms of programming BumbleBee Radio and all the artists I get from him. He's wonderful.
Oh yeah. I bet. Yeah. So can you tell me about BumbleBee Radio? I know the name. I want to say I might have heard a show on there once or twice, but I don't want to speak out of turn.
Okay, so BumbleBeeRadio.com is an internet radio station that I started 5 years ago, right at the outset of the pandemic. So I've been in radio for, 35 years or something like that. I started in radio in 1988 at college radio station 90.7 WKKL, Cape Cod Community College. Within a few months, I had my first commercial radio job on Cape Cod at WOCB, which was a 50,000 watt FM radio station. And I've been in radio ever since. It's been my entire career. Over that entire career, I've never had an opportunity to actually run the radio station. I've been an operations manager of WXTK on Cape Cod, which was a 50,000 watt talk station. But you still don't get to make programming decisions as the operations manager. It's like you're taking care of the equipment, ordering stuff, making sure stuff gets fixed, scheduling people. I never had control over content, and it was something that I always dreamed of. I had been the program director of the college station. I very quickly became the program director of that. So I did have control of a radio station in my college years. But after that, never, as a job or commercially. And it was something that I always wanted to do. There were so many things that I saw about the way commercial radio was done that just seemed so empty and just centered on ratings, centered on the lowest common denominator. And I'm like, I could do so many things if I just had a radio station of my own. And I kept hoping that one day somebody, some owner of a radio station would say, oh, wait a minute, Kristen maybe has some good ideas. Maybe we'll let her be in charge. That never happened. No. So I had been, I can't stay away from being involved in music. Although I have been in talk and news radio commercially as my profession most of my life, which is weird because I always wanted to be a disc jockey. And I ended up being anything but that. I'm a helicopter reporter now. It is my paying job. So it was in the winter of 2020. It wasn't the greatest time in the world at that point. The pandemic hadn't quite struck yet. It was about to strike. I had gone back to my old college radio station from 2007 to 2013 after a reunion event, and they said, would you like to do a weekly music show with us?
Oh, nice.
At WKKL, and I said, yeah, that'd be wonderful. And I did. I did it for those 6 years. But then the opportunity came for me to get in the helicopter full time with my paying job. And I had to leave that position at WKKL where I was doing a weekly show. But fast forward to 2020, and I got the bug again. I was like, I want to do something in radio that's involved with music. Just being a helicopter reporter wasn't enough. I needed another creative outlet. So I started to come up with this idea of a weekly radio program, like a 2-hour show, and thought that, well, I'll shop it to some of the college radio stations here in the Boston area. I can't get myself down to the Cape anymore to do a show, which is what I was doing on those Friday mornings for that WKKL show. I'd get up at 3 a.m, drive from Somerville down to the Cape, do a 4-hour music show, and then drive back to Boston and do an 8-hour shift on WBZ. But being in the helicopter on a split shift, I'm like, I can't do that anymore. So maybe I'll approach a college radio station here in the Boston area with this idea of this 2 hour indie alternative music show. And I was trying to come up with names for it, and the one I settled on was BumbleBee Music, which would be a 2 hour weekly show where I'd walk in with a laptop and maybe a DJ controller and take over the station. And I was about ready to approach Salem State University, who had the station WMWM, to pitch them on the idea, and the pandemic struck. And everything shut down. All of the college campuses were closed. You couldn't do anything. And I was like, oh, I was about ready to go to them with this idea of mine. I said, what do I do now? And the more I thought about it and the more I watched all of the, the plans that were coming into place and what Governor Baker was telling us at the time about what was going to be closed, what was going to be open, which wasn't much, the grocery store and the liquor store. That's about it. I said, oh my goodness, I've got a lot of time on my hands. And I'm like, what if I actually just, since I can't get to a radio station with this idea of mine, what if I actually created a radio station? Which is what I did. I didn't even know exactly how to do it. I just started searching online and looking for all of the information I could find. I knew a ton of stuff about radio equipment, and what's involved in a radio station technically in terms of creating a terrestrial one. But in terms of like putting it on the internet, I had to do some research and I had to do a lot of organizing with my music library. But somehow I put that all together. And awesome. BumbleBee Radio, BumbleBeeRadio.com was born.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I have, like, I don't know. So, like, I grew up, like, I was born in 81. My earliest memories of, like, radio was probably late 80s, into the 90s, and I was always a huge radio, and I didn't, we didn't have streaming services, like this was how you discovered music, was through the radio and through word of mouth. And
absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And like when I discovered like rock stations when I was living out in Rhode Island, like there wasn't many at the time. We had WRX. It was like it was a classic rock station. You had HJY.
103.7.
Yeah. HJY, which is, I think, still around today.
They are.
And then there was
WBRU.
Yeah, and then there was one in New London, Connecticut called the Z-Rock. And I loved that one. That was like a little more edgier. It was like a little, at the time, it was newer music, less classic.
Okay.
And then I happened to have my senior year of high school, I had a really good stereo in a not so really good car, but I picked up AAF for the first time, and I was like, whoa.
Oh.
Because Z-Rock was long gone. They had like one called The Edge that nothing lasted. And then, so I started listening to AAF, and then lo and behold, WFNX put up a Providence station for a while. And
right, they actually took over the WRX signal at 103.7.
Yep, and it just kind of went on from there, and like, and then that station went out. But like, so like radio, like I romanticize radio just like I romanticize music. I love music. I loved radio. But like you obviously gravitated to a station that liked music, right? Like the music you liked, but you kind of like gravitated towards the people on air, what was going on with the station. And like, I wanted to be in radio so bad. And like, I went to like, I ended up getting like, I went to a open house for a Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and they totally duped me. Cause at the time I was writing screenplays, and they were like, oh, we have such a fantastic course for this. It was like a 1-day class, but
oh my goodness.
I ended up doing really well with like copywriting and like writing copy for radio, and then like we would have to do like on-air stuff for the courses and stuff like that, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then I learned how hard it was to just break into radio.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You just mentioned Connecticut School of Broadcasting. The other one that was around at the time was Northeast School of Broadcasting. And I remember both of them promised you the moon. Just come take classes with us and you'll be a radio star. And it's not that easy. And so when I was an operations manager at WXTK, yeah, I had tons of applications coming in from people that wanted to be news anchors, they wanted to be reporters, they wanted to be writers. And a lot of the applications and demo tapes I got in were from not kids that went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting or Northeast School. I got some of those. I got stuff from kids that went to Emerson. And that's supposed to be the premier school for television and radio broadcasting. And a lot of them, I had to tell them no. I listened to what they had on tape and I said, did you spend any time on air in those 4 years that you were at Emerson? Did you practice at all?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, they wouldn't let us on the air, but I got the degree.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So no, it's really difficult, and it just becomes more and more difficult with each passing year. The jobs are just disappearing. They've been disappearing for a long time, unfortunately.
Yeah. So let me ask you that. Like, what do you think? What has been the biggest downfall for terrestrial radio? And I really don't think it's streaming. I don't because like radio was terrestrial radio was having some issues. Before that, I think a lot of it, I don't know, man. I try so hard to like try to think about this stuff, and like, I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Well, there are so many different factors that go into that. Part of it is that whole. So a long time ago, when I started in radio in the 1980s and the early 90s, one of the gold standards that they used to have in the Arbitron ratings. Arbitron used to be the one that did all of the big radio ratings for the commercial stations. They were bought by the Nielsen company, who does TV ratings. So now Nielsen does both television and radio. But back in the 80s and the 90s, it was Arbitron. And the gold standard for ratings back then was time spent listening. If you were the station that got the number 1, number 2 rankings in your demographic in the amount of time that a listener spent locked on your station listening to just you, that was like gold. That you'd won if you had done well in that category. Now it's what they call it's called AQH. Average quarter hour listeners. So how many listeners did you pack into a 15-minute segment on average?
Yeah.
That's what determines your ranking. And that's the one that salespeople take out on the road with them to sell to advertisers, is how many potential listeners do I have at any given time in a 15-minute segment? And so what that incentivizes station programmers and owners to do is to make sure that nobody turns that. On the one hand, they want to make sure that nobody ever switches off the station because they want them in every 15-minute segment. But at the same time, they're playing the same song every hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so while you're trying to grab onto as many people as you can, you're also losing them. You're losing interest at the same time, and it's kind of a vicious circle, I think. But nobody will lay off of that philosophy. Everybody's all in on that in terms of maximizing listeners within a 15-minute period. Where what I do is I don't care if I had 100 listeners over 15 minutes. I care more about whether I had 10 that enjoyed what they were listening to and just keep the station on.
I just remember where radio was weird for a long time, and it was fun, like it just kind of like you would have local bands could come in and talk to people, and or you would have like up and coming comedy people coming in all the time, and I don't know. I think maybe New England was just blessed with some really good radio stations. But we had some great ones. WBCN, WFNX, FNX was one of my favorites. WBRU out of Providence, out of Brown University, which was a rare example of a high-powered college radio station that had a commercial license.
They're gone. WAAF, another good one that's gone.
Gone? Oh,
What's that?
I didn't know. I didn't know BRU was gone.
Yeah, BRU got bought up by the same group that bought WAAF.
Oh,
So both of them broadcast religious music now.
Yeah. K-Love or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever. So I guess I went around with this whole thing to come back around to like what internet radio does now is what like I loved about radio, right? So like there's freedom, right? There has to be a lot of freedom with it.
No, yeah, absolutely, because well, to be fair, which I don't need to be, but to be fair to the commercial radio station owners, it does cost a ton of money to maintain a broadcast license, whether it's AM or FM. And there's always somebody out in the public that can challenge your license and shut you down, and you have to jump through hoops for the FCC. And it's an expensive proposition to run a broadcast station, a terrestrial broadcast station. As an internet radio station, you don't have a lot of those expenses and a lot of those hoops to jump through. So you don't need to be terrified of losing some advertising money because you want to do something different, which now, is that's very freeing.
Do you still have to get like permits and licenses to play like commercial music? You know what I mean? Like
I pay licensing fees for all the commercial music that I play, which I play a lot of commercially licensed music. And oh my goodness, these days you do not want to take a chance of like being a pirate station and not paying those royalties and fees and getting caught, and you will get caught.
Oh yeah.
Because these days they have computers and AI just crawling the web and everywhere, looking for violations. It's not even people. It's not even humans listening anymore. It's a computer that's just monitoring everything 24 hours a day, waiting for you to mess up. So you have to. That's crazy. No, you have to be careful. You have to be very, very careful.
But now, when you float in like the independent music like kind of space, what does that entail? Is it the same thing? Like you need these licenses to do that?
Well, so the way I do things, I have a service provider. So my BumbleBee Radio's programming originates from here. In my home, goes out to a place called live365.com. And they provide the operating base for thousands of internet radio stations all over the world. They use them. And you pay them per month for the service, and it's quite a bit of money. I had to turn off most of the TV stations I used to pay for this, but it was worth it to me because I don't watch a ton of TV anyway. Right. But as part of that subscription price with Live 365, they log everything that you play because they're receiving the stream coming from you. And everybody that's either registered with BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, or there's one more for America for Internet Radio. The name escapes me off the top of my head.
I knew this. I knew this.
But there's also a licensing service for Canada and one for Great Britain, and Live 365 pays out the royalties and licensing fees to all of those. They figure that out for you, which is wonderful.
Your monthly charge for using their service. Gotcha. I mean, it makes sense, right? It kind of sounds like it's a good thing to do.
Oh, it's an awesome thing to do, and I wouldn't do it any other way because the artists deserve to get paid for their music.
Yeah.
I have not seen exactly how much Live 365 pays out per song, per artist to everybody. But I bet you anything it's more than Spotify pays people.
Yeah. What? So now let's talk about starting an internet radio station in 2020. How do you compete with like the streaming services, right? Because like now it's like when you're a radio, you compete with other stations. I don't think that's really. Is there a big competition between internet radio stations? I can't see that. I can see it being more like kind of I don't know, like friendly than that.
Well,
No?
well, no, I'm actually friends with a number of people that do internet broadcasting. Like I'm friends with a bunch of people on Markskin Radio here in the Boston area. I have a bunch of friends who are on WMFO at Tufts who also broadcast online. So yeah, we're actually in the Boston area. The online stations. We're more of a community and friendly with each other than we are competitors.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of things for out here. Like
Right?
where you would see more like kind of, not, I don't want to say like cutthroat competition, but there's more competition like between
Well,
bands in other cities. You know what I mean? So
Well, I think in my mind anyway, and I think some of the other people, some of my friends on MFO and Markskin, I know agree with me, is that a big part of what we're doing, in terms of indie music and local music here in Boston, we're trying to get these artists heard as much as possible. Whether they're hearing those artists on Bumblebee or on Markskin or on WFO, that's secondary. The most important thing is that they're getting heard.
that's how I feel when I have guests on the show. Like it's like I don't like I keep like a close knit relationship, friendship, whatever, with other podcasts that are just like mine, because like I want to hear like the way I approach these things is different from how this one approaches it, and I like to see how they approach the same, like even the same artist as someone who I've had on. You know what I mean? Like I like that.
Right, for
It's
sure.
fun. And at the end of the day, it's to, like you said, it's to get that artist played, right? It's to get that artist for people to be like, oh, who's this band? This is my new favorite band. Like it's
Right, exactly.
yeah, it's just something like it's so like I think so. There's like it has to be a huge passion, right, for music for you to go and do something like this.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that music is one of my favorite things ever. The only time I'm not listening to music is when I'm in the shower or asleep.
Oh, you could fix that. I listen to music in the shower and I'll fall asleep.
I actually have a waterproof JBL Bluetooth speaker, a small one with a little hanging thing on it that I can hang in the shower. But most of the time I'm in the shower at like 4 o'clock in the morning before I go to the helicopter, and I never think to put it on.
No, I'm not thinking a whole lot at 4 a.m. either. That's when I go up. I understand. Actually, I just changed jobs where I was still at work at 4 a.m. up until about 2 weeks ago, and now.
Overnight shift?
Yeah, I did like a 12-hour shift, and then now I do an 8-hour day shift that starts at 6, and I work out in Bedford, so I have to I get up at 4, get ready, you know what I mean? So I'm not thinking a whole lot either at that point.
No,
I get it. There are moments where what's the saying, like silence is golden or whatever, So
right, yeah.
So so let's break down Bumblebee Radio. Sorry, I bumbled my words. Is there like multiple shows? Is it running 24/7? Like, how does that work?
The station is running 24/7, playing our format. Right now, the only live program is mine, which is called Bumblebee Brunch. And that happens every Friday morning from 10 a.m. to noon. So for those 2 hours, I come on and introduce all of the newest songs that are being added into the format on the station. But I also mix in classic alternative tunes in between. So you're hearing, the Clash, the B-52s, the Smiths, Talking Heads, but also interwoven in between all of that, all of the new stuff that's coming on, whether it's local Boston music or new music that's come in from elsewhere. I have music submissions coming in from all over the world now.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So each show typically has anywhere from 12 to 15 new songs that get added every Friday between 10 a.m. to noon.
Wow. Okay. Now, and then the rest, is it like, are they recorded shows, or are they just kind of like, is it just music loops? Like, I don't know. I don't really know much about. So one thing I always thought of, and I guess it would be a really, because I've actually had people on who do like internet radio shows and have an internet station and stuff before. But like, I guess like I never really thought about it, like to make like can you make an archive of the shows or no?
Yeah, I could make an archive of the live shows, but and a lot of people have asked about that as to whether they could listen to Bumblebee Brunch on demand, because people are busy. Maybe they're not available at 10 a.m. on a Friday morning. I have a lot of people that love the station and want to listen, and they're like, "I'm sorry, Kristen, I got called into meetings at 11 and couldn't listen to the rest of the show." And they're like, "Did you record it? Do you have an archive? Could I listen to it later?" I've had a lot of people ask because that's the way people listen to things now. Podcasts. Podcasts are wonderful because you download it on your phone, and when you're ready to listen, you listen. And I do the same things with some of the podcasts I listen to. I download them on my phone, and I put them on when I'm out for a walk in the morning after we land. Unfortunately, because of the music licensing issues, I can't allow that. I've been trying to figure out how to make that work. BBC Radio over in Great Britain has figured that out. But it's very technical. They created an entire app that allows you to download a program, but it's like a shadow copy of the program, and then it disappears after 2 weeks. It vanishes from your phone, never to be seen again. And you can't go into it. You can't edit it. You can't take the songs from the program. All you can do is listen to it, which is ingenious. I don't know how they did it. And I'm not even sure if that's legal in the United States. That's a ton more research that I'd have to do in it. But the short answer is no. We don't have a way to archive the shows right now so that people could listen to them later. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I was because I was like, why isn't this the thing? But then I was, that's what I kind of thought was like.
Now, if I did an entire show of all unlicensed music, like all local music, and got everybody that was involved, that everybody who had a song on there, to basically say, you have permission to play this, and you have permission to offer a recording of this to somebody, and you might even, if you don't know those people that well, you might even want to have them sign off on a legal agreement that says, I gave you permission to do this. It's kind of scary these days. You don't really want to take those kind of chances. So I do the waiver thing because typically if I have an artist on, like a musician on or something, I play a song of theirs at the end of the episode. So I do that. And for a while, I wasn't. That's not being paranoid.
No,
it really isn't.
And I wasn't doing that for a while, and then I think once I got into the video, and then with YouTube, that's when I was like, oh, I need to do this. Yeah. So I think with all this stuff, and I'm, I don't want to speak for you, but with me, having the podcast, I talk to people who I want to talk to. I talk to people who I enjoy their music. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the whole point. It's a very selfish thing that I do, right? I want to talk to the people who I enjoy their music, and I want to be able to help promote them.
That makes it genuine.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So are you playing all the music that you want to play?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is nothing that I put on Bumblebee Radio that I don't want to put on. There's nothing I put on the station that I don't like. If it's on the station, it's because I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's
I
great.
would never just go and put a song on because it's high in the modern rock charts right now and a bunch of people are listening to it. I would never make that decision. Yeah. I have to like the song.
No doubt. Yeah. That's great. That's great. All right, so what happens when the brunch show isn't being played? Do you have other people? Is there other DJs or anything like that? Or
I'm working on getting other DJs. I've been working on that for a while. That's a work in progress because there are people that are interested. That said, if you want people to play what you have in the format and what you've programmed and follow your vision for the station, in my mind anyway, you need to pay them.
Yeah.
You need to pay them for their time. Otherwise, if you're, and people have said, I'll do it for free. I'm volunteering. I'll do it for free. If you let people do that, then they're going to want some freedom to play what they want to play.
Right.
And then that becomes, maybe it works out. Or maybe, so we're an indie alternative station. We're not a classic rock station, but say somebody says they want to do a show, I'll do it for free. I love the station. Then, 2, 3 months later, all of a sudden they're playing Led Zeppelin. They're playing Pink Floyd, which is not what we do.
Right.
But you're not paying them. So I don't, I'm trying to come up with the solution to that without coming to that juncture, without coming to that problem of having to have a conversation with somebody and saying, hey, this isn't what we do. I don't want to have that conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
So I would rather figure out how to pay them and say, hey, I'm going to pay you. I think you're great. If you enjoy the music, come on and play what I have programmed, and I'll make sure you get paid for it, compensated for it. I do have some specific situations. I'm working on one now. Probably the next presenter that's going to be on the station. I'm not going to say who it is just now, but it will be what they want to play. It'll be on a weekend, and I've decided that I like what they do enough that I'm just going to basically simulcast their show.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And they will do what they want. And I think on a weekend, that can work.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think so. Because that's, I mean, again, like I'm thinking back to like, when I was listening to radio all the time and stuff like weekend shows were always a little bit different,
Yeah, and I think that's not a bad thing because a lot of times people are busy on the weekends. They're not in their regular routine. They're not driving to work or driving home from work or whatever, and so maybe they're not listening to the station as they normally would. But if somebody knows, hey, there's this really cool show that I like, and it's on Saturdays, they'll tune in for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So other than that, so I have an automation system that is loaded with all of the songs that are in the BumbleBee Radio format. I have given it specific instructions as to how to play the music each hour. I don't tell it exactly what songs to play. So I create a format clock that tells the computer in at any given hour. So top of the hour, you're going to play a station announcement, and then you're going to play a song from the 70s or 80s. Then you're going to play a brand new song. You're going to play a station ID. You're going to play a song from the 90s. You're going to play another new song, another station ID, and so on until it fills the hour out. And the computer has to follow those instructions that I've given it, but then it chooses the songs from each format category randomly.
Oh, wow. So you built like did you build like a directory then? Like of like the songs or?
Yeah,
like,
I did.
wow, holy cow. That's a lot of work.
So everything is categorized by years. So I have 60s, 70s, and 80s in one category, 90s in another category, 2000 to 2009 in another one. Then stuff beyond 2009 is organized into some other subcategories, and then I have categories for the new music as well.
Wow.
And the computer has instructions as to how to deal with all of them.
That's awesome.
And the fun part about letting the computer sort of randomly pick the songs, it does have a few more rules.
Yeah.
But what I love about it is the fact that I listen to my own station quite a bit. I don't know what's going to come out of the station next.
Yeah.
I can know what the category is going to be based on what time I am on the clock, and I have 2 clocks that rotate every other hour. So sometimes when I first turn on the station in the morning, I'm not sure which clock it's playing on, whether it's the first one or the second one. So it takes me a little while to figure that out, but I never know exactly what it's going to play next. And that, to me, is what was magic about listening to the radio growing up, is you didn't know what was coming. And that was fun.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was. I used to like put cassette tapes in and record the radio show if I couldn't be listening to it. You know what I mean? Like I did stuff like that. Yeah. So
I did too. I did too.
What is it like? So one of the things that I don't think I've ever really lost was my passion to hear new music and to like learn a new band or hear a new song. You know what I mean?
Same here.
That's the same for you. So,
oh, absolutely.
When you get these submissions, right, from like independent bands and stuff like that, like, has there been times where you were like, oh, like you find that one, you know, the diamond in the rough kind of thing, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah, that happens a lot. That's the best. And sometimes I get 2 or 3 of those a week, where it's just like, oh my goodness, wow. One of the artists that I already play on the station, she's from Pennsylvania, Celeste Corsano. She sent me her newest track earlier this week, which I'm going to debut on BumbleBee Brunch this Friday. And we were sort of chatting back and forth after she sent it to me, and I'm like, Celeste, this is great. I'm putting this on Friday. And she's like, oh, thank you. And here's this other artist that I really like that I've been listening to. And she sent me a music video for this Brooklyn artist who does, oh my goodness, it's like prog rock meets pop rock and chamber pop and jazz, all mixed into one. And I watched the video and my mouth was just hanging open. I'm like, this is absolutely amazing. That song's going on Friday morning as well. So I love those moments. I absolutely love those moments where you're just like, where did this come from?
Yeah. I still get like one of my favorite things to do. So one of my favorite bands from the area, I love bringing people to see them for the first time and just watch them react to the show. You know, like it's
right.
It's just one of those moments. Like I just happened to catch them. They were at like this punk rock flea market thing out in Worcester, and like I watched people walk over who weren't there for music at all and just get mesmerized by what was going on. You know,
what was the band?
Coffin Salesman.
Oh, I don't know them. I'm gonna have to check that out.
They're one of my favorite bands, and they're all great people. They're all great people that are in the band. So
please direct me their way.
Okay.
Send me a link, some info. I want to check that out.
Yeah. Definitely. So all right. So you've been doing this for 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
5 years?
Our fifth anniversary was this past April.
And you're having a show to celebrate that coming up, right?
Yes. We're doing our second ever live music showcase. That's going to be Friday, October 24th at Crystal Ballroom at Davis Square in Somerville.
That's awesome. Now, this is your second live show?
Yep, we did our first one last November over at Sonia, the former TT the Bears behind the Middle East.
Okay.
That show was Count Zero, who were releasing their first album in years. They hadn't really been playing out or recording anything for a few years, and they came back with a new album, Thought So, which is absolutely fantastic album. So that event for BumbleBee was their album release party. Then we had Lavina Falls, who are absolutely wonderful. Have you heard of them?
I have. I think we got Michael. Yeah.
That's Valerie Forgione from Missile Thrush from the 90s.
Yeah.
That's her new band. And singer Amali Sastry, who is part of Boston musical collective Jaggery. So that was a great lineup. Our lineup for this year, I'm really excited about. We have an artist coming in from Los Angeles, Beck Black, who's been a favorite on the station since we started. We've been playing Beck Black's music since 2020. The Peppermint Kicks, that's a duo consisting of Sal Baglio from the Amplifier Heads and Dan Kopko, who's in a few different bands, Shanghai Lows and Watts. So the two of them get together from time to time and do Peppermint Kicks records. They have a brand new one that just came out in August. So we're actually the official release party for that album.
That's awesome.
Jennifer Teft and the Strange are playing the show,
That's great.
and Smitty and the
Jennifer on
Feztones.
I've had Jennifer on the show.
Oh, Jennifer's awesome. I love her music.
I had the whole band on the show. They were great. Yeah.
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
And Smitty and the Feztones.
Okay, cool. This is awesome. And this is going to be at the Crystal Ballroom, you said?
Yep, Crystal Ballroom, which is right next to the Somerville Theater at Davis Square. That venue had been kind of like ignored, unused for a while. And it was a few years ago that somebody said, why don't we do something with this space? And they did. It's absolutely beautiful in there now. Holds about 550 people. Great stage lighting and sound setup and everything. So we're hoping for a really, really big show. This isn't just go down to the local bar and see something. This is a big production that we're putting together, and we're hoping a lot of people will show up and enjoy this. We're really shooting to make this a huge event.
That's awesome. Do you have like a spot for it? I can put it on the podcast for the next couple weeks. And
yeah, we have. Would you like an audio or a video spot? I've got both.
Yeah. Let's talk. I could probably do both. I think I can do both.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll get those to you for sure.
Awesome. Hey, I love what you do. Keep doing it. Like especially at the local level, right? Like even, and I say that like this podcast. I've talked to people in South Korea. I've talked to people in Canada. I've talked to people across this country. But like everything we do, like to me, like the whole independent thing is local across the board, right? It's like it's not just like local to where you are. I call it a community, right? This is like a community versus a scene. I feel like scenes come and go, communities last, and
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
and like doing things like having BumbleBee Radio is important. And the fact that like you network and that you know with all these other people who do similar things, like that's what makes communities work. You know what I mean?
You're right. It does. And prior to me starting the station, I had been involved in the Cape Cod music community because that's where I'm originally from. I had put together some live shows down there. I had created a zine and a record label down there that helped out local artists on the Cape. So this is always something that I've been interested in terms of local music and promoting local artists. And then I moved to Boston after starting, working for WBZ in Boston. And it took me a long time to get involved in the local music community up here. I guess I didn't even know where to start. But when I started BumbleBee, I said to myself, I know there's a lot of music going on here in the city, and I just need to learn about it. And that's what I did. I just started listening to other people's shows, finding out about artists, contacting those artists. And it was a lot of work at first to try to like connect with and meet these people and then just go out to their shows when we finally could go to shows again, which was big. I think was it summer of 2021 was the first time as everybody was starting to get vaccinated that the live shows started to happen again.
Yeah.
I remember
I went to New Bedford, I think, for my first one.
I think my first one was when once Somerville did the outdoor shows over at Boynton Yards next to the railroad tracks in Somerville. And like everybody, I just remember everybody was out of their minds excited that we were going to get to see live bands again. And we didn't care that we were in a parking lot outside. Yeah. We were overjoyed that we were seeing live music again. And so that's another thing. I think the pandemic, if nothing else, it taught us to not take things like that for granted.
Yeah.
Of being able to go out and see live music and be with your friends and be part of a community. A lot of bad things happened as a result of the pandemic, but that was one of the positive things. And yeah, I don't know if I would be connected as I am in the community without BumbleBee. So I'm grateful for that too.
Yeah. No, it's weird because like what you just said about like, with like us not being able to go, right? That was like I didn't go to a show. It was like other than like if I was working, because I worked in bars for a long time. So unless I was working at a bar, which is different, right? When you're actually like there to work as opposed to actually like enjoying a show. But it was like 10 years between times that I was gonna go. Like I'd gone to a show, and then now I mean I try to go as much as I can now. So it's
for sure. I about the same here for me too.
Yeah. So it was a long time where I just like I don't know what it was. It was many different things, I'm sure, but like
life happens. Life happens. You get in a routine or a rut, whatever you want to call it, and then all of a sudden you're like,
rut.
"Yeah, right."
What's a 10-year rut?
I've had a few. I've had a couple of those.
Yeah. But yeah. So again, Kristen, what you do is important, and I'm really happy that we had to connect and talk about it, and we were able to give you the platform. Now, let me ask you this: to anybody who wants to start an internet radio station, what is the biggest piece of advice that you give them?
Make sure you have plenty of time to do it, and make sure you really, really want to do it, because it's a lot of work. Number one, and also it takes a long time to build up the listenership, because you are competing with not only terrestrial radio, not only the streaming services, but also just countless other internet radio stations that are out there, and you're competing with podcasts. You're asking somebody to give you so many minutes of their day, so many minutes of their time, and each and every one of us only have so many minutes in any given day to give to anything. And our attention is split in so many different directions. You have to be prepared for that. Not be discouraged at the beginning when you see that there aren't a lot of people listening. And if you really believe in it, you'll just keep plugging away at it, trying to improve, obviously, trying to promote. You have to promote. You're always promoting yourself. I used to have people. I was involved in a podcast myself for 6 years, from 2011 to 2017, with a friend of mine. And I had a couple different people, because we promoted the heck out of it. We were always posting on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter about the podcast. And I had a couple friends of mine tell me, that gets to be a little obnoxious after a while. I keep seeing all of your posts on Facebook, and maybe I don't want to listen because I'm tired of seeing them. And I said, well, all right. I said, well, that's your loss.
Right. Why do people offer? What benefit do they think they're going to give you by offering a piece of advice like that? Like
I know.
But their opinion that we could get into that. That's a different.
But don't. So, in terms of advice to give to somebody that wants to start an internet radio station, don't listen to those people. Promote the heck out of yourself.
There you go. Yeah, I am really bad with social media, and I don't like it. And there was a time where after I relaunched the podcast where I was like, I'm not doing it. And the internet is very unforgiving. Like, as soon as you're gone, they don't care. And then so someone actually stepped up and was helping me for a long time with it. And now I'm doing it, and I'm doing it every day, and I hate it. But I
do too. Oh my goodness. That is probably one of my least favorite parts of what I do on BumbleBee is the social media stuff, because it's tedious. The most fun in what we do, whether it's me with BumbleBee or you with the podcast, it's the creative part that's the fun part, not the promotions part, not the. It's the same old routine of writing this Facebook post and this Instagram post and tag these people
Yeah.
and tag that and make sure you. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh God, it's time to do the social media posts again, but you have to.
Yeah.
Because as you said, you're correct. The moment you stop, they're like, oh, I guess they're not around anymore.
Yeah. I had to switch my RSS feed, and I put up so much ample time and like notice about it, where people were like, "Hey, I just thought you were doing the clips now. I didn't know you used to, like." I was like, oh. Like you listen to it, and literally there's like a 30-second thing of me explaining we had to move, and this is where you're gonna find it after this episode, and like, and it was
Right.
on every. I think it's on every song. I mean, every episode from like the first 250 or whatever. And then it switched. Then we switched it, because I needed better analytics to be able to see better analytics with my website, So
Right.
But like I was like, God damn it! No matter what, I just can't. Like, I can't win.
Well, no, it's the reality. It's the world we live in now. You have to do it. You just have to do it.
Absolutely. So where can people find you? Where can they find BumbleBeeRadio.com? Where can they find tickets for the anniversary show at the Crystal Ballroom?
So let's start with tickets first
Okay.
and foremost, since that's the thing that's coming up very, very soon. Friday, October 24th for that big show. BumbleBeeBoxOffice.com. That will take you right to the ticketing page. It'll have the information about prices, the times of the shows. The doors are at 7, shows at 8, but you can find that at BumbleBeeRadioBoxOffice.com. That's going to take you right to the Ticketmaster page, where you can get tickets for the show. In terms of the radio station, BumbleBeeRadio.com is our main website. When you get there, there are links for our iPhone app, which works with Apple CarPlay, for our Android app, which works with Android Auto, and also in the past year we added Alexa. So there's an Alexa skill that you can activate right off the website at BumbleBeeRadio.com, and once you activate that Alexa skill, then you just tell your Alexa home device, and let me unplug mine right now so I don't activate it. Then you just say, "Hey Alexa, play Bumblebee Radio," and the station comes right on.
It's awesome. All right, cool. Now, is that all stuff like? Did you have to figure that stuff out, or does like Live 365 kind of help you with that?
So Live 365 helped me with the iPhone and the Android apps. You can pay them extra to do that for you, which unless you're really good at coding and JavaScript and a whole bunch of other stuff, which I am not, I would highly recommend just paying them for that stuff. And then for the Alexa skill, I actually found a way, a step-by-step process online to do it yourself with a little bit of help. And I was a little intimidated by it at first, so it took me like a year to get it done. I kept saying, all right, I'll put aside a weekend. I'll put aside an entire weekend to work on this Alexa skill. And that weekend never happened, where I had a Saturday and an entire Sunday to do it. And I kept saying, I'm going to get around to it. I'm going to get around to it. And finally, one weekend, I said, all right, this is it. I'm doing it. I'm going to sit down, and I'm not getting out of this chair until the Alexa skill is created. I got it done in 30 minutes.
Yeah. That took me 3 years to build the website, and well, it took me 3 years to start it. It took me 12 hours to do it. So,
Right, same thing.
I had a slow night at work one time, and I built the website there. So
that happens.
Yeah. And now social media. Where can they find everything on social media? Where can they find the station?
So we're on Facebook, Instagram. We're on X. We're on TikTok. Most of those are just at Bumblebee Radio 1.
Okay.
I think TikTok is at Bumblebee Radio without the 1. The rest of them are at Bumblebee Radio, the number 1.
All right. Well, this was
I tried to I tried to keep it as uniform as possible so that you're not
I hear
telling
you.
it. There's a quick little pet peeve.
Yeah.
Sometimes because I make a log of every artist that gets added to the station, and I track down all of their social media addresses and put them in a spreadsheet so that I don't forget them.
Wow.
It's amazing some of the usernames that I see people pick for their band that have nothing to do with the band name. And I'm like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I wish I had a shorter podcast name. It's like like the podcast, like I use I just wrote podcast for Instagram. It's like podcast TSA, like the struggling artist. But like now I'm like, I wish I just had the website is the strugglingartistpodcast.com, and you know what I mean? It's just super long, and I'm like, why did I
Well, I get stuff for, people like, this is made up. This is not a real band. But I get a submission from a band called the Ravishing Flowers. And their social media handle is Meathammer7. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Right on. Kristen, this has been great.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Come back anytime. Doors
I
open.
would love to.
If you got something to promote, if you just want to talk about the radio more, well, the door's always open.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for having me today.